Hi there.
Hi there.
No problem.
Good, man. How are you? I don't know about that.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Leo's Coast to Coast. And now, broadcasting live by the light of a single swinging bow, deep in an underground bunker marked only by a nondescript entrance, somewhere in rural Oregon. Don't even try to find him. Don't even try. Here's Larry with this week's guest.
Hello, everybody, wherever you may be, from coast to coast and sea to shining sea. It is Saturday, Double Play Saturday, back-to-back shows, meeting live PD heroes. How about that, huh? Hello, Winnipeg, Manitoba. Hello, Middle Tennessee. Chilly, South Carolina's in the house. I saw that last night. Cold. Oh, you guys are really cold in South Carolina. Oh, my goodness. El Paso, Texas is here. No, Las Cruces, New Mexico. Let's make it right. All right, welcome, Las Cruces. I've been there before. Beautiful area. Boston, Massachusetts is here. Canada. We've got Boston. We've got upstate New York. Oh, hi. Oh, welcome, Sheriff Chody from Williamson County, Texas. The house is packed. We're ready to go. Because doggone it, he's in a rental car on his way back to Missoula. Welcome, Captain Bill Burt, all the way from a hidden location. They say I'm in a hidden location. See, that's what Chet Buchanan says on the intro, but I'm really not. Captain Burt, welcome.
Hi there. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, buddy. How are you?
Good. Actually, I'm sitting in my work vehicle in the airport parking lot getting ready to head out to Reno.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Welcome, Tampa, Florida, San Antonio, Texas. Hello, Carolyn. Hello, Pennsylvania. My goodness, a lot of people loving you today. Excited to see you. How are things going?
Excellent. Looking forward to a conference. Be down there for about a week. I think I come back next Thursday. So I'm looking forward to this.
Well, we're looking forward to having you, too. I'm trying to get a little more light so people can actually say I do have a face here somewhere. But anyway, it's probably a better thing not to show me. Hey, tell me, how things been in Missoula? Been pretty cold, snowy, icy? How's it been?
You know, it's really been kind of strange. Usually this time of year we get these inversions and we end up with a lot of fog and cloud cover early in the mornings, and it takes a while to burn off. But we have had some absolutely gorgeous days. Just no wind, blue skies, snow on the foothills. It's been a little cold, but nothing too unbearable. We've had a pretty mild winter.
Well, we're honored to have you. We really are. Hello, Sheldon Burt in the house. Seeing Sheldon Burt. I don't think there's a coincidence there behind the last name.
No, that would be my dad.
Mr. Burt, it's an honor to have you here. Thank you very much for joining us today to see your son on the show. Captain Burt, I'd like to start out by a little bit of a downer here. Terrible avalanche recently there in your area where some snowmobilers were killed. Could you talk a little about that? Because that doesn't usually happen, especially with people who are experienced behind a snowmobile.
Well, it was It was definitely heartbreaking. You get these three guys that are out recreating on New Year's Day, and they're all from the area where I was born and raised, over in the Butte and Anaconda area, and one of the guys even works with my brother, and you people that do that kind of sport, that kind of recreation, it's my passion. I love backcountry snowmobiling, and we know the risks, we know the dangers. There's things that you can do to mitigate those risks, but short of sitting home on the couch, there are some risks involved, and it was really just a heartbreaking thing for the families, and just a super unfortunate, terrible tragedy that, terrible way to start off the year for sure.
Yeah, it really was. And for what I read about it, it was it just happened in the snap of a finger. It was so fast. They just didn't have a chance.
One of the things about it, you just, when you're in the backcountry, snowmobiles have become so much more advanced and have allowed riders to get further back into areas where we weren't 10 years ago. And again, there's things we can do to mitigate those dangers, and a lot of safety equipment out there, but there are no guarantees. In this particular one, it wasn't a big slide. It wasn't a super wide slide. It was pretty short, but they're devastating, and they can happen, on anything more than about 30 degrees and a 30-degree incline, and it's, you think you might have some good anchor points, but you just really don't know what's going on underneath the snow, and it's you got to just watch the danger signs, watch the forecasts. Not ride in small groups, and make sure to be utilizing the safety equipment, the beacons, and have your avalanche probes, and watch out for each other. You got to have each other's backs when you're out there in the backcountry.
Absolutely. Live with Captain Bill Burt from Missoula County, Montana. We're honored to have him. Thank you for being here, my friend. Megan McRae. Yay. Hi, Captain Burt. If you make it to the Northeast, I will still buy you lunch. Hey, Megan. Hey, there's two of us here, Megan. Two of us. Okay, sorry. And guess who else is here? I texted him right before we hit the show. Inspector Craig Soroka came in. How about that?
Oh, hey, Craig.
Hello, awesome. Inspector Soroka. It's good to have you guys.
I can't wait to hang out with that guy. I love him. He's awesome.
He's the very best. I love that man. So we have Captain Burt, Inspector Soroka, Sheriff Chody, and a man who's wearing nothing.
Oh, boy.
That there's a male having sex with the carpet in this hotel.
A like for carpets?
Right here.
Yes, that's what we're going to show right now. The people are watching as we speak.
What are you doing?
I guess I'm going to jail. I guess.
Hold on a minute.
Yeah.
Is he staying here?
Yes, he is.
Which room is he in? Who's he with?
It's just him.
What was he doing? What's going on?
I just got a call from these two here. I found him laying right there having sex with the floor.
Why are you out here with no clothes on?
Sir, I don't know. He's intoxicated. Yeah, I am. Montana. Yeah.
Put your pants on.
Yeah.
Put them on. Put your pants on.
Okay, well.
Those your pants?
Yeah, these are my pants, yeah. Yeah, these are my pants. Yeah, that's my pants.
So why are you out here having sex with the carpet?
I don't know. Just, I don't know.
Put your pants on for me.
I'm trying. Yeah, I'm trying.
Come on.
I am. I'm putting them on. Come on. We
All right.
go now? Yep.
Well, he's
We're
gonna
gonna go to hell. Yeah.
he's gonna grab a card and
yeah, we're going to jail. Yeah, come on.
what all you have in your room? Anything I need to be concerned about?
Nothing.
Grab your ID. Come on.
Come on. Suck my no. Come on. Come on. Let's go.
All right.
Take me to jail. Come on.
Well, we'll get that part taken care of in just a second. How much of this did you drink today, man?
Oh, God.
Come on, you're almost there. You got one more shoe.
Oh, I got one more shoe. Can I have one more drink?
No.
Oh,
no.
why?
You've had
Come
plenty
on.
of drinks.
Come on. Oh,
Put your
my
other shoe
God.
on.
Come on, man. You. Let's go to jail. Let's go to jail.
You don't want your stuff?
Nope. I don't want my stuff. Come on.
Okay, we'll just throw it all away?
Yep, throw it all the way.
Okay.
Throw it all the way.
All right, man.
Yep. Yep. Come on. Yep.
You're doing good, man.
Yep. I'm doing real good.
I'm just trying to fix your cuffs for you, all right?
Oh.
That's how we're buddies.
Yeah, you ain't my buddy.
I've been nice to you.
You ain't my buddy. Yeah. I'll you. You ain't my buddy. Suck my yeah, you did that? Yeah.
Have a seat. Okay.
Come on. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Love you.
Sit down.
Yeah. Suck my Woo! Bye.
I guess we'll just have to take him into the hospital and determine how high his blood alcohol level is. He's just not making a lot of sense. Says he's just been drinking a lot, but I think it's probably more than that. We're going to take him to the hospital before we take him to jail and get him checked out and see if he's good to go to the jail.
You know, I don't have any way to really segue. What does it feel like to go into a situation like that?
I don't know. It's not. The funny thing about it is when Live PD first came to town, they first came to Missoula. That you do your days of pre-records, and then of course you have your live nights. And the fear leading up to them coming to our community was that it was going to be quiet, and we do have those quiet times. I don't know. You enjoy them at certain times, but just really worried that we were not going to be able to maybe showcase our community and not have the bears and not have the kind of calls that we normally have. But if believe it or not, within the first hour of them being with me, I had a very similar type of call that had a guy laying out on the side of the road naked. And anybody who's been in law enforcement for any length of time, these things are not unusual. When people are drinking and drinking heavily or under the influence of drugs, they just do some strange things. And so in this particular case, it was a pre-record day, and we were, just out trying to be proactive, trying to find something interesting and to try to find something to that would I don't know, showcase our community. Well, this was not the one you want to showcase your community about, but I happened to be right in front of the hotel where this happened. I just happened to be driving in front of it. So the call wasn't all that unusual to me. I realize for people watching and the viewers, but anybody who's been in law enforcement for any length of time, these types of things happen. So it wasn't unusual for me at all. I guess the only thing that was a little bit weird is the cooperation level. At first, he seemed to be somewhat apologetic and knew where he was headed, and then all of a sudden he just became angry about it. The little bit about the pants, I was just waiting for him to tell me those weren't his pants, because we hear that so often that I kind of wanted to just beat him to the punch and just wanted to make sure ahead of time that those were in fact his pants.
Live with Captain Bill Burt from Missoula County, Montana. One of the most talked about events on Live PD history right there. I wanted to share with you something your father just shared, and I think it's beautiful. I am proud of the compassion and respect you showed for this unfortunate individual when this went down. I couldn't do the job like you do. How does that feel for your dad to say something like that to you, live like this?
I know he's expressed this before in this particular incident. We don't have any desire to exploit somebody or an embarrassing moment or a bad moment in their life. So I know my dad knows how I feel about this type of stuff. He knows how I feel about the career and the job that I do. And I know he's proud of me for. He's been my outlet and my source to be able to express some frustrations. There's been many times when I've had a bad night, or we lost a child, or had somebody do something really stupid, hurt somebody else, and he's kind of been my outlet and my person I've been able to call and kind of vent to, and he's been good for me in that way. He's helped me out a lot of times throughout my career.
Live with one of Missoula's very best, Captain Bill Burt. Grateful to have you here. Nicole Crum, neat comment. She says, Captain Burt to New York City as a guest for Live PD. Tell Captain he's got 700 votes in the poll. That is hashtag Bill Burt,
She's
the
awesome.
number 2 NYC. So if you want to jump on that, we're trying to, actually, this is Nicole on her own, put this together, trying to get Captain Burt to be on the show. So if you'd like
She's
to help
been
jump
awesome.
on
There have
that.
been a number of people out there that have been promoting that. I would love that opportunity. Nicole's been, she's been the right out in the forefront though, and that what a great opportunity that would be. And I'd like to see some other guys out there. I think Mike Musket might be watching right now too. What an opportunity that'd be to see him on there.
Yeah, Mike is
what
awesome.
a great guy.
Mike is awesome. Both Mike and Rachel. Yep, good people.
A couple other shout outs real quick. You've mentioned Sheriff Chody's name a couple times. The camera crew that we had in Missoula, primarily had during the time that they were here, came from Williamson County. So we had an opportunity to our sheriff spoke with Sheriff Chody a lot, trying to get some feel of what to expect. I've had a number of conversations with Lieutenant Kennedy, and the team that rode with me rode with Lieutenant Kennedy. So even though I've never actually physically met these people, I feel like I know them. They feel like family. They're tremendously good people, and I just like to thank Sheriff Chody and his folks for helping us out here. And then I have a friend who, this is the first time she's ever watched anything like this, 86-year-old Betty Smith, who I met on a call probably 10 or 11 years ago, and she and I have become best of friends. I love Betty, and I'm hoping she's was able to make the link work and that she's watching us today.
Betty, if you're here, welcome. We are truly honored to have you here to see Captain Burt, and we're just grateful. We're just a little family get together on Saturdays and celebrate law enforcement and talk about the great things that they do. We really do. So thank you so much for that. Also, I know Lee Terry has been involved with the, sorry, my mind went blank, Bill Burt to NYC thing. She's been heavily retweeting that as well. So between Lee and Nicole, somehow we'll get you there. Cammie Miller from the Evergreen State says, between the doorbell locker and now the carpet, what could be next? Please, Cammie.
You know what? Last night was a pretty good show. It's been interesting to since the middle of January to come home on weekends and be able to sit back and watch the show. I think that we might have a new contender with the guy who wanted to pick up his own beer last night after he regurgitated it. That was pretty damn gross. Yeah. I cannot deny that. Officer George Ushak, welcome back, George. When I saw the coins in the show, not going to lie, I said, I see coins, and I want coins. Just kidding, no. He's talking about the coins that fell at the door sill there when the guy was getting his clothes on. Anyway, it's funny. We can always count on Officer George for a good one. He's always good. He's good with that stuff. Oh, my goodness. This is great. All right, Karen White, I love the one with how they got the bear down. You guys deal with a lot of bears there in Missoula County, don't you? We really do. And the populations are becoming even greater. It seems like every spring that it just become more and more and more of them. Even at my house, I've had them, you do the things that we know that we're supposed to do around here, not leave food out, not put your garbage out too early. And, when they come out in the springtime, they're pretty hungry and they're foraging and they want to start, fattening up from their hibernation. And the same thing starts to happen again just before they go into hibernation. And so they're not too afraid of people. They'll come pretty close and they'll start, and they're urbanized. Especially the ones that live around town, they'll wander through the neighborhoods at night and be getting into garbage and looking for people's leftovers. So, while they're kind of might have this cute and cuddly look to them, you certainly, even with the black bears, you don't want to get one into a corner or make one feel threatened or look like you're going to threaten their food source or one of their offspring, because they'll hurt you. Yeah, no joke. Live with Missoula County's Captain Bill Burt, one of the big guys. I mean, way up the chain of command, and we're honored to have him. A live PD hero for sure. Let me get to all these fans' comments because there's so many here, man. You have broke the record, by the way, the highest amount of people on the show at one time.
Donna Smith. Hi, Bill. Jill Bemmy. Maybe let's get that trending again tonight. Hashtag Captain Burt to NYC. Carrie 2970. I love the muskets. Toot Sweet from the City of Lights. So many great from Live PD. Hi, guys. Good to see you, Toot Sweet. I love her. You know, she is one of the kindest people in the world, puts other people before herself. She's just a wonderful person. She's one of our moderators. She's a great person. If you get a chance sometime when you're down in Nevada, hit her up. She's
Okay.
I can let you know. She's just a nice person. She's a human kindness in her is wonderful. All right, Nicole says after the comment about Burt to NYC, one at a time, Captain, one at a time. Let's get you there first. Carrie 2970, welcome back to the show. If you could pick 5 to do a ride along with, who would you pick to go with? People from Live PD.
It's interesting that you say that because 5 of us are planning a little trip next February, and there'll be some more information about that coming up. But Soroka is just one of my favorite guys out there, and he was a favorite of mine before we ever got on the show. I just like his demeanor, the way he talks to people. He can call somebody out on their BS without being rude or being looking for the right word to describe this, without humiliating them.
Yes.
I really appreciate that. That it just shows some class and some character. And I've liked Mike Musket from the very beginning. Mike was just the way he carries himself and the last episode they ever had on Live PD, Mike was out there and they had the guy. I think they picked up a car on a plate reader, and it was maybe from it was a stolen, I think, but it was, or maybe even a carjacking from earlier in the day. But, the way that Mike and his team performed throughout that incident, I mean, they're consummate professionals. They just absolutely incredible.
They really are.
The Jefferson County people, I like the way that Deanna Marshall carries herself. I like the way that she deals with people. And then, of course, one of my all-time favorites is Daryl Ross. I had an opportunity to meet him last month when I was moving my son to Huntsville. Talk about a guy who can make you feel welcome. He invited us down to his home. My boys really don't watch the show. They don't really know who these people are, but they weren't enamored by the guy who was on TV. They genuinely liked Daryl Ross for the way that he was, the way that he treated them, and they got talking about dogs. So I think, to answer your question, I like Ross, Musket, Deanna Marshall, Soroka, and the other guy I would really like to, I'd jump in a car with and hang out with, just because good techniques, good tactics. He's a safe guy, is Stu Bishop.
Yep, Stu's something else, isn't he? You mentioned a lot of people who are coming onto the show, by the way. Daryl Ross will be here on the 14th. Bishop and Kingery together. I don't think there's any way YouTube will be left. I think it'll be little scattered pieces all over the place. Kingery and Bishop live on the 29th here on the show. And
that's the original dynamic duo, isn't it?
Oh,
those two
no
are awesome.
Kidding, man. We just hope there's some pieces of YouTube left for others to use. It'll be funny. It'll be
That'll
funny.
probably break the internet.
Oh, no joke. Courtney Bradley, I've got a few minutes to go to work. 100% got your 6, no matter what. I hope you send me a patch from Missoula County someday. I've got your 6. She loves collecting patches. That is Courtney.
Just send me an address, Courtney. Just DM me an address and I'll send you one.
There you go. All right. Yes, Toot Sweet. Oh my goodness, that was hilarious. Can I pick up my beer? Well, one of the moments
that drinking.
Oh, can you imagine? Dogs drink their vomit. The dogs will eat their vomit, but we're humans. We're supposed to be above a dog. Okay, so one thing I noticed last night, I don't know if you saw it, but the way that Officer O'Mahony dealt with the suspect in Pomona towards the beginning of the show, and it was a gang member. Do you see the respect that went back and forth there? I watched the level of respect that both had for each other, and the gang member was totally honest with him. And I'm like going, Wow. You know what? These people truly do have some sort of a really good connection together. I mean, a connection that's like they respect each other. For law enforcement to gang member, that's got to be so hard to establish. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, it's the oldest form of policing. I mean, when it's a fan that we have a fancy term that we use today called community policing, but it really is the oldest form of policing. So what's going, I keep in touch with that crew down there. So the crew that I mentioned that came from Williamson County came here, and then when they left here, that's where they're at now. So I really pay attention to Pomona because the producer and the camera guy, those are my people. Those are my friends, and so I do watch what's going on in Pomona, and I'm glad you picked up on that because that takes a lot of time and a lot of effort to be able to go out there, and that just didn't happen overnight to build that relationship. Look, there's bad guys out there. You can square off with them and fight them and throw them in jail every time that something goes on, or you can do what O'Mahony's doing down there and start and his whole team,
Yeah.
and establish
Same
relationships.
thing with
and
Irfan.
establish
Irfan
rapport
did the same
because
thing.
you never know when stuff like that might save your life.
Oh yeah.
He gets sideways with somebody else he doesn't know down there, and that guy might be the guy that he's established that rapport with might be his closest backup, and it's crucial, especially in areas where you have a lot of gang problems. But it applies to law enforcement across this entire country. Fabulous job by those guys.
Folks, if you would like to call in, I'll give you the phone number in just one moment here. We've broke a record for viewers for this show, truly. And if you'd like to share it on social media, Twitter, Facebook, Pinterest, maybe if you're an Instagram person, whatever, share it. Just go ahead and share the name of the show. It is not Live PD. That's the name of the show, actually. But the name of the channel is Live PD Officer Interviews. So Live PD Officer Interviews. We'd like to give everybody a chance to meet Captain Bill Burt today. It's truly an honor to have him here. Megan McCrae, she comes in with some good stuff. I love this. Too much vomiting. The cameramen must love it because they zoom in. Yuck. I'll take Naked Rug Guy every day over them. It's pretty good. Let me keep getting to these comments because there's so many of them. Sydney Michael. Sydney, welcome. First time I've seen you on the show. We're grateful to have you. Hello from Tennessee, Captain. Your dad is awesome and obviously very proud of you. That's really cool. I mean, Sydney, thank you for saying that because it's pretty darn special to hear something like that. I want to make sure that message gets up on the screen. We'll get to your message as fast as we can, okay? Nicole, again, how about the guy that Captain pulled over and said he was a huge fan of Live PD, but didn't recognize you? That was priceless. Do you remember that moment?
I do. In fact, I'm within a half a mile of the location where that happened. And, it was funny to me, and I couldn't help but play on it a little bit. And you could see the wheels turning with him. That poor kid was so nervous, and first time he had ever been pulled over in his whole life. And, that kind of stuff goes on, that happens. And so you just want to try to help people relax a little bit and look for an avenue. And so he kind of was looking for a cue, and he gave me the cue when he mentioned Live PD, and I'm like, really? All right, here we go. And so that was definitely a lot of fun. When he stuck his head out the window and saw our camera guy back there, that was pretty awesome.
That's really cool. Officer George, the man with the good quotes. Love reading his stuff. George, thanks for joining us again. It's always a great joy to have you. He says, when I saw the snow out in Missoula County, I was like, wow. I mean, is that December in Montana or what's with the snow? I mean, I saw a lot of snow. How much snow do you guys typically get in the winter there?
Missoula itself is a little bit of a banana belt. We don't get a ton right in the valley here, but you get into our mountains and where I was talking about going and doing our backcountry snowmobiling, you can get anywhere from, I don't know, 10 to 30 feet. We'll get occasional dumps where we'll get 1 or 2 feet. This has been a super mild year. I've had to plow my driveway like 3 times, and usually by this time of year, I'm just about wore out. It has not been bad at all. I'm just looking around at the foothills here, and it's just kind of It's
Barely
around,
there.
but
Wow.
it's just not. It hasn't been super terrible. Not
No,
bad at
that's
all.
not bad at all. Wow.
Pretty
Oh, but
mild
10
year.
to 30 feet. Wow. That's a lot of snow. All right. Lee Terry from Middle Tennessee. Love Lee Terry. She's one of our moderators.
Me too.
Lee says, what are some of the best pranks done in your agency? And who's the biggest one of them practical jokers?
Oh man, I tell you, I'll try to keep this story short. But he's since retired. But we have a guy named Dave Walrod who was a detective, and he's a big hunter, loves hunting, and he finally got that trophy bull elk that he'd been looking for years, and he'd brought the cape and the everything down to a taxidermist, and the whole team during the night had gone down to the taxidermy shop and worked it out with the people who own it, and they put up some tinting in the windows, and they worked with dispatch, and they created this entire fake call that there was a fire inside of this building and that everything was destroyed. And they just mentioned in briefing that there was a fire at this particular address, and poor Dave's, you could see the wheels turning with him, and he was trying to figure out, is that where my elk is at? And so he kind of sheepishly left briefing without saying much and went down there and was trying to look through the windows and really believed that place had burned up. And it was probably one of the most awesome and elaborate pranks ever pulled, but it was pulled by the entire team.
You guys. Oh, man. Lee, thanks for asking that question.
Gotta have some fun.
That's a good one. Donna Smith, I've wondered this question too, so I'm grateful she asked it. Hi, Bill. Ever think about going into photography? Your pics are beautiful.
It's so funny. First of all, just living in this state and living in this area can make anybody a good photographer. And there's nothing special about those pictures. It's a cell phone. I see something and I stop and I take a picture, and it's just God's canvas. I mean, you drive around this place, and I've lived here my entire life. Other than a couple years that I lived in North Idaho, I've lived in Montana my entire life. But I have never seen skies quite like we have this year. When Live PD started with us in September, Fridays and Saturday nights, they would come out, and there would be these cloud formations and these colors in the skies, these reds and pinks and greens that I have never seen before. And I wasn't the only one stopping to photograph it. The camera guy and the producer and our AV person, they were all getting out trying to grab these too, because it was just, I've never seen it. It's just been a unique and an unusual year.
That's great.
I'm no photographer. I'm just happened to be coming across some spots that have some really pretty scenery.
Well, it can make anyone a good photographer, but you still have to have the eye for it, right? I'd like to welcome the Live PD crew. Yes, Live PD crew have joined us. We'd like to thank you guys for joining us. That's really an honor for me. Welcome also Inspector Soroka and Sheriff Robert Chody down in Williamson County, Texas. It is an honor. And of course, my dear friend, and your dear friend too, Inspector Soroka. Good guy. Love that man.
Yeah, he's a good dude. I cannot wait to meet that guy and his family in person. I think I love most about him is just what a family guy he is, and the way he how he takes care of his kids. One of the most heartfelt things was on my birthday back on November 8th. He and his kids singing "Happy Birthday" to me and put it on. There's no way I could jump on it, record myself singing and then put it out there for the world, but he did it, and that meant a lot to me. That was pretty cool. I got a really nice greeting from Lieutenant Kennedy on that he had sent me as well. So some really cool people we've got to meet as through Live PD, and it's been awesome.
Yeah, two classy people right behind my computer monitor here where I do the show, and I kind of look at you and people all looking, and all that is the Soroka's Christmas card with their kids, and it reminds me of a lot of wonderful things about him. He's just a very special guy. I agree. We've got so much. This is all about the fans, and I've got to make sure we get back to them because that's what we're here. All right, Sheldon, your dad again. Still hoping to meet up with you at the drag races in Vegas in April, Bill. Take care and be safe until then. Now, there's a picture of a little boy. It looks like on a motorcycle. No. Let's get that back up. Is that a motorcycle? Is that you as a little kid?
I don't see it. I don't know.
Okay. All right. Do you have like brownish black hair when you were little? A little colic coming
Not
down?
me.
Oh, it might be your dad. Well, maybe he'll tell us. We'll find out. Okay. Jennifer. Hi, Jennifer. Jennifer Dimer, welcome to the show. Jennifer Daimler asks, what call has stuck with you throughout your career, Captain Burt?
You know, there's been a number of them, and usually they result in some type of tragedy. And you know, this is an honest statement. I have forgotten more than I can remember. But the most surreal and the most incredible call I've ever been on was back in August 2 years ago when Deputy Jessup found that 5-month-old baby up in the mountains at 1:30 in the morning. You know, I was the assigned coroner that night. I'm the commander for our search and rescue team, so I had dual purposes for being out there, and I was part of the search team that there was maybe 8 to 10 of us that were in that particular area looking, and I got to be honest, I didn't have much hope that we would find him. And if we did, I really didn't have any hope that he would be alive, considering how long he had been out there in the elements. Because when we started, it was in excess of 90 degrees, and at the time that we found him, it was around 44 degrees. So there was a huge temperature change, and then you think about the number of the predators that are out there. I mean, everything from bears and wolves and coyotes, fox, even birds of prey, everything that's out there looking for a food source. But just the elements. But to come across, for us to have come across and found him with literally nothing but some scratches and bruises.
And that story went international. I mean, it was
the presence
everywhere.
of God in that moment was incredible.
Amen.
Because you know that there is no way that 5-month-old baby survives in wet, soiled onesie and has a core temperature of 98.6 at the time we find him in 44 degree weather. Something else was at work there, because it's inexplicable. Any hypothermia expert will tell you it's not possible to put a 5-month-old baby out in a wet, soiled clothing in 44 degree temperatures, leave him there laying on the ground, and have a core temperature that's perfectly normal.
And it was just a miraculous thing, because I
all the way around.
I don't want to go too long on this, because I want to give the phone number out. I need to right now. It's important. 503-420-4062. 503-420-4062. Get you to talk to Captain Bill Burt live. That story went viral. It went international. It was in Great Britain, Japan. It was in France, Italia. It was everywhere. Okay. And there was a picture of the little baby holding onto a finger, and that finger was yours. How'd that feel?
Correct. You know, it was an accident.
Because it wasn't you that actually found him, right? It was one of your deputies that found him.
Yeah, it was Deputy Ross Jessup. The determination and the dedication to just the perseverance of him hiking up and down in this steep hillside was, I can't even say enough about that. But after Ross found the baby, which was just a miracle, because it's so dark you can't see your hand in front of your face. But after he found him and brought him over to my patrol vehicle, we brought him down off the hill and put him in the ambulance. I followed him into the hospital. I was just trying to photograph some of the injuries. All the scrapes and scratches and bruises were on his front side, and I was trying to open his fingers to be able to photograph the dirt inside of his palm. And you know, he was found face down, so he had been pawing at and scratching at the ground for over 9 hours. And evidence of that was all over the front of him. And so I was trying to capture the palms and the dirt under his fingernails. And one of the nurses stuck a bottle of Pedialyte in his mouth. And I didn't even think about how hungry that poor guy must be. And you can see when when that bottle hit his mouth, he reached around and grabbed a hold of my finger, and he's gripping it so hard that the blood went out of the end of his fingers, making his fingertips white. And it was an like a lot of my photos. It was an accidental photo. It captured a great moment in time, but it was purely accident.
That's pretty cool. We're live with Captain Bill Burt from Missoula County, Montana. Truly an honor to have him today. If you would like to call in to say hello, phones are live for you, 503-420-4062. That's 503-420-4062. Double Play Saturday. Yep, 2 shows. We first start out with Captain Bill Burt. Then at 3:30 Eastern, we'll have Officer Sharif Irfan from Pomona County. So make sure, Pomona County. Wow. City of Pomona, thank you very much. Oh my gosh, Pomona County.
I'm jealous because he's got my old crew there. So make sure I'm going to be trying to get on an airplane, but make sure you tell him to tell my old crew hello.
I'll do that. I will. I promise. Yep. Hi, you're on Leo's Coast to Coast with Captain Bill Burt. Who's this and where are you calling from today?
Well, I feel very fortunate. My name is Sheldon Burt. I'm Bill's father.
Oh, do you hear that, Captain Burt?
I did.
Oh, Mr. Burt, what an honor it is to have you call the show. Whatever you want to say, the floor is yours, sir. Go ahead.
Well, thank you very, very much. I have to tell you, this is an unexpected surprise for me. I'm sitting in our RV down in Lake Havasu City, Arizona, where we spend the winter, and normally it's beautiful, sunshiny weather out here. Yesterday we were out on the river playing on our jet skis, but today it's a rainy day, and so we're sitting in the RV and catching up with some correspondence, and I had sent a text to Bill about an hour ago and said, what are you doing today and what are you up to? And I got a text back from him saying, I'm just getting ready to go on this live podcast, which we had never talked about or discussed before. I had no idea how this sort of thing works. So you can only imagine what a pleasant surprise it was to click on the link and get in on the action. And I don't want to take up your whole show, your whole program, but it makes my heart swell with pride to see the people that he has out there that interact with him and have had an opportunity to get a little more in-depth understanding of what police work entails, and I'm really proud that Bill has been such a good fit on the show, and that he's he's just made me proud throughout the whole thing. So it's all been fun, and today has been an especially nice surprise for me.
You know what? I'd like him to be able to reply, and you're going to hear, if you listen on your phone, you'll hear it live, but if you listen on the feed, it's going to be delayed. So I'm going to ask you if you'll be kind enough, just listen on the feed part for his reply, okay?
I'll do that. I kind of expected that would be the situation, so I've got my phone, the volume turned down on my phone where I'm watching the program, and I'm speaking to you on my significant, my lovely lady's phone. So I think as inexperienced as I am at this process, I'm getting it kind of figured out, but I love to hear what he has to say back, and thank you for this opportunity.
Oh, Mr. Burt, this is the neatest call we've ever had. No disrespect to any of our callers, but this is truly the sweetest moment in almost the 2 years of this show's life. So thank you. Thank you so much for calling. What a special moment this is.
Well, I thanks again.
Love the.
And you guys sound alike
support.
too. You guys sound alike.
It's not. We get that all the time, and not only do we sound alike, but when we go places, everybody thinks he's my brother. I look a lot older than I am, and he looks a lot younger.
He's heard that before, as have I.
Well, I think you guys sound alike, and I mean that as a compliment. So I'll let you go so you can hear his reply. Mr. Burt, thank you for calling. What a joy. What an honor. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much again for the opportunity, and be well wherever you are.
Thank you. God bless you, sir. Bye-bye. Hey, you know what? That is right there. That's the coolest call we've ever had right there. Right there. You just did it. That was your father, man. I'm telling you something here. Listen to me now. Coach, you know a little bit about me. You know a little bit about my life, my son.
Mm-hmm.
I'd give anything to hear my son tell me that. What do you feel right now hearing your father say all that about you?
You know, he's been a big supporter for me. He's been um, again, he's been my outlet for a lot of frustrations that have gone on. It's you you, you don't have an opportunity to go and talk to a lot of people. It's but he's the guy I've been able to kind of complain to and be able to vent to and be able to in most cases he's been really good at just listening, and I probably really wasn't looking for advice and just somebody to vent to, and he's pretty intelligent. The part about him sounding or us sounding alike, we also get that when we go places together. I think we look a lot alike, and I look older than I am, and he definitely looks younger than he is. So a lot of times we're confused as brothers, and I think he kind of likes that, and it kind of irks me a little bit. But we've had a tough go of it, Larry. I mean, I think I shared with you that in 2006 we lost my mom in a tragic boating accident, and a lot of my family was around when it happened, was present in there, and so he's had some of his struggles, and I've had some struggles, and she was really kind of the glue. I have two younger brothers, and she was really the glue that kind of held this family together. Her birthday is March 1st, so her birthday is just around the corner. Again 2006, 14 coming up on 14 years, and it's still a lot of times it still feels like yesterday. There's times that I'll have moments like this. Let's say I just had this really good program and this really good interaction with you, that I'll want to grab my phone and want to pick it up to just talk to her and tell her about something just happened, and not having her there to be able to do that with. My dad often goes through the same things. I know he has shared with me some of that same stuff, and so to have him to be able to sharing some of this with me is super special, because my mom is no longer around to be able to do that with.
Yeah. Well, I think one of the coolest parts of that was you could tell from your dad it was from his heart, and the listeners and the viewers of the show could as well. That was a very special moment, and it was really an honor to be a part of that. There's a two-part question here, and I'm going to try to get all your questions. I'll do my best here. We only have about 14 minutes left here, so let me do our best, okay? Megan McRae, an 18-year-old got into an accident in front of my house one time. He was so panicked. I've had a few issues happen to me, so I talked him through it until the police got there. I asked if he still needed me, and he was good to go. So I went back to bed. Sometimes youngsters just need their hands held the first time. That's true, Sometimes you just need to know that someone's there, kind of like your dad is. Carrie 2970 with a lighthearted question for Captain Burt. What are some of your favorite things you like to do? Like, do you like to watch any sports? Do you fish? Do you hunt? Talk about your hobbies.
I used to love hunting. I want to say it was right around the time that we lost my mom that I don't have any problem with it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not I mean, I've always had a deep and tremendous respect for animals, and but I just don't have any desire to kill or hurt anything that I don't absolutely have to. And so I still love to go out and interact with wildlife. I love to get out there snowmobiling. There's incredible opportunities to see the wolves, and during the archery season, I go out there and do some bugling and call the elk in, but I just don't have any desire to really hurt or kill anything anymore.
Yeah.
But I love water sports. I love boating, jet skis, being on the rivers. Montana has so much to, Montana and North Idaho have so much to offer in the way of that. I love my Harley. I could get out of my Harley, and that thing should be tax deductible. That is the second greatest form of stress relief that I have, is just to get out of the motorcycle and go for a ride. But the best and the most awesome form of recreation is to get on my snowmobile and go back into the mountains about 35 miles where it doesn't look like anybody has ever been before, and just play around in the powder and in the snow. It is the closest thing there is to flying without leaving the ground.
That's beautiful.
Love it.
Live with Captain Bill Burt, Missoula County, Montana. Still a moment to call in if you'd like to. 503-420-4062. That's 503-420-4062. Captain Burt, speaking of Harleys, you do have a connection with someone who was a Harley spokesman for decades. You grew up with them. For those that haven't ever met you before, who did you grow up with?
I grew up in the same town as the great Evel Knievel. I think I probably even sent you a picture of him when I was a police officer in Butte, next to one of my patrol cars. But he was pretty good to me when I was a kid. I had something called leg perthes, and Bob used to have in the 4th of July parade every year. Butte Celebrations put on this big parade, and Bob would put all of his motorcycles and rockets and dragsters and helicopters, anything he could, in the parade. And I remember one year in particular, he was stopping and giving kids a ride on his motorcycle, and I was having trouble catching up and getting up to him because of this leg perthes. I was on crutches, and he, being that his mom and dad were neighbors to us, he kind of knew who I was. He came over and swooped me up and put me on his motorcycle, and I got to ride with him for the rest of the parade. And I really felt honored and blessed. Not everybody was a fan of him, but I'm telling you, he was good to kids, and he was really, really good to me.
Live with Captain Bill Burt, Missoula County, Montana. What a thrill to grow up with Evel Knievel, the real one, the real guy.
The real guy. Yeah.
Jill Bemmy with a great question. Got to get to these questions because I'm serious. You broke the record, man. It is packed in here. You've been traveling a lot lately. Can you tell us a little bit about what you've been doing during your travels?
The first one was to Huntsville. I'm proud of both of my boys. I have 2 boys. I mean, they're awesome kids. Never caused me a bit of trouble. They're way better than I deserve. But my youngest son, we moved him to Huntsville he's interning with NASA. They sought him out. He didn't seek them out. That was an awesome trip.
Wow.
Turned around from that and went down to Florida and just to catch some sunshine and explore a little bit of the west coast of Florida because, well, I've never been on the west coast of Florida, and my God, just incredible. I went to Marco Island, and Marco Island was just they call it Markup Island because of the expense, but it was well worth it. Just the temperatures and the beauty of that place. Getting ready to go to Reno for this conference, and then I come back Thursday, and I'm turning around going right down to Glencoe, Georgia, to Plutzy to be a mentor for the ninth class of the Department of Homeland Security Leadership Academy, and so very honored to be able to do that. I was in the inaugural class. I was in class 1, and got invited back to be the mentor for class 9. So I am super excited to do that. I've been communicating and talking with there's an assistant chief of police out of Seattle, high-ranking member of the Chicago Police Department. There's going to be a total of 30 of us that are going to be at the Leadership Academy, and I'm really looking forward to that.
Very good. Live with Captain Bill Burt, Missoula County, Montana. If you, my friends, would like to call in to say hello to him, it would be an honor for me to be able to give you that chance. Truly, the show has always been about you doing an opportunity because I'm disabled, but I still can do the radio part, okay? And so my way of giving back is to allow these wonderful officers love and devotion and kindness for an hour and them to get a chance to meet you. So if you'd like to speak with Captain Bill Burt, phone number to call, 503-420-4062. 503-420-4062. Your dad came in with another great comment. He said, that's a picture of me with my father back in 1948. Bill was named from my father, William Keith Burt. Grandpa, that's pretty cool. Congratulations, man.
Very proud to have that name.
Well, you should be.
My dad lost his. My dad's dad died in 1955. He had his own airplane and was coming back from an air show and crashed. And my dad was only 7 at the time. And so, having that name and honoring that name has always been very important to me.
Well, we've got a caller for you here. Hi, you're with Captain Bill Burt from Missoula County, Montana. Who's this and where are you calling from?
Hi, gentlemen. It's Lee from Middle Tennessee. Thanks for doing the show today to both of you.
Thank you. Thanks for helping out.
I've got a couple of questions. First, if Captain Burt could tell us what the favorite part of his job is, and then just I wondered how Mia's doing, the grand dog.
Okay, there you go. I'll have you listen on the air if you would, Lee. Is that okay?
Yep, that's great.
You're awesome. Thanks for helping out today. Appreciate you, my dear. Take care. Bye-bye. All right, there you go. There's your marching orders.
I love Lee. She has been one of these people that from the very beginning has been super supportive. She's connected with Sheriff Chody and the people in Williamson County, and she helped us out as much as Sheriff Chody did. So she's just been awesome. As far as Mia goes, I never really believed it was a real thing, but Mia has gone through some separation anxiety. She's in a place where she's not familiar, and there's nobody around. And Jackson has to leave her alone during the daytime while he goes and does his thing with NASA, and that dog has turned into an absolute nightmare. But hopefully,
misses home.
Hopefully that'll smooth out.
Maybe he needs to come back home. Who knows?
As far as and this is going to be a strange answer to your question, Lee, about my favorite part of this job, but it's about 14 years ago, I was forced into doing coroner work, and I kicked and screamed about it, and I absolutely was out. I did not want to do it. I came it with a promotion, and I did not want to do it. And what I have come to realize is that in law enforcement, you very seldom really get an opportunity to help people. A lot of times, you're putting a Band-Aid on an arterial wound. You're trying to patch things up. But with coroner work, you really get an opportunity to help families deal and navigate some of the most difficult times in their lives. And so, just on Valentine's Day, we had a situation where this couple had been married for 66 years, and her husband passed away on Valentine's Day. And just to be able to, without getting into too many details, just to help her navigate some of the difficulties of that and connect her with some resources. I've gotten more feedback through coroner calls than I have in law enforcement work, tenfold. And I don't like the yuck and guck of it, but it's an awesome opportunity to be able to actually really, really help people out.
I give you credit. I couldn't do it, man. I couldn't. But you know what? Somebody has to.
Larry, you know what? I know. I've come to know your character and your integrity a little bit, and you have the heart for it, man. I'm telling you, I think you'd surprise yourself. I don't know if anybody ever takes the opportunity on this show to actually thank you for what you do and what you've done and what you've created here. I know it's come at a tremendous expense. I know that the money is that you've put into this and the effort and the time, but to be able to connect, to humanize law enforcement and make connections with not just our own communities, but people across the country. What you have done has been, you really deserve a lot of credit for taking the time and going through the effort and making this even better by jumping onto YouTube. I really just want to thank you for doing what you've done with this. This has been super cool.
Praise God. Thanks, man. Appreciate that very much. Thank you. Okay. A lot of thanks to your dad. A lot of thanks, Bill Weinger. I've got to do this. It's my father-in-law. Hi, Bill. Hello from Bill from Tracy, California.
Hello.
Just lots of love. Just lots of love here. It's an honor. And truly, there's a question I put on the screen here. It says, would you like to go up to New York City and go into the live PD studio? Yes, he would love that. Megan McCrae.
Oh man, what a great opportunity that would be.
Has put together a nice thing for him. It is called #Bill Burt to NYC. Go ahead and put it on the screen if you would, Megan, and that way everybody can see it. And hashtag that tonight during tonight's live PD. Folks, I would love to be able to get to all of these questions and comments. But this is truly amazing to have this many people here today. And I would love to be able to do this to get as many of your questions. And so I'm going to try and do that in the next 2 minutes. P. Martin, Captain Burt has mail coming in from Michigan with my address, my challenge coins. How about that? As thanks for being the transparent man he is, you get some challenge coins from Michigan. That's pretty cool, huh?
Awesome.
That's awesome, huh?
Awesome.
Cami Miller, Mr. Burt, your son is absolutely amazing. And come to find, we are neighbors, LOL. That's pretty cool.
Really?
Yeah, that's what Cami said. Cami, go ahead if you want to before we close the show out. Go ahead and just let know where you're from. You don't have to give like the city, but just the part of the state is fine. Lee Terry asks, will you be visiting Lake Tahoe while you're in Reno?
Absolutely. I'm going to bring my drone with me, and I'm going to go get some photos, and I'm probably going to do some Facebook Live stuff while I'm out there. So I just quite literally before the show started today went to the back of my Tahoe and got all that stuff out. So I hope they let me bring it all on the airplane because I'm bringing it.
Juanita Matthews, what a great call from your dad. Yep. That's pretty darn special.
He's a good guy. My dad, growing up, just a lot of good memories, going out hunting with him when I was a little kid, even before I was eligible to go hunt, taking me out on snowmobiles. As a little kid, I remember I woke up one morning and had a little kitty cat snowmobile under the Christmas tree. Always had motorcycles. I mean, he did a lot for me. He exposed me to a lot, and well, it's his fault that I love motorsports the way that I do.
There you go. Cello Montano, my sister Cello from Oklahoma. Wow, you are truly a blessed man. Thank you for serving and sacrificing for the people. Let me try and get to a couple more of these. I'm going to tell you the final thing I need to let you know, because I've not told you this yet. Nicole Crum, who's in charge of the Bill Burt to NYC committee. Wow, that's cool. Enjoy the traveling and looking forward to seeing you back on Live PD. New York first, of course. Yeah, of course, we're prioritizing everything here. All right. I had a guy this week who is one of those people that like to watch the videos on YouTube where law enforcement is disrespected. And we got into a healthy discussion. Nothing to get into a discussion. You don't have to call each other names. You just talk to each other. And at the very end of the discussion, after this man had told me about First Amendment, folks, understand, the First Amendment reads peaceably. The word peaceably is inserted there when it comes to the right to your words. Okay? Yes, you do have free speech. Peaceably. You don't go someplace to cause trouble. That's not peaceably. And that's really an important part of the First Amendment that these guys don't get. If you're going there to cause trouble, that's not peaceably. Just like you don't go to the TSA at the airport and say, hi, I want to record you. Then start calling your family names. What do you think of that? That'd work, wouldn't it? Now you'd be put in a little room somewhere and the FBI would come visit you and take you to a small place that you wouldn't be able to spell. The point is, folks, I ended the conversation with this young man and I said, I do a show that respects these people because they're willing to take a bullet for me. That's why I respect them. And he responded with a thumbs up, and he stopped arguing. That was the end of it. I think we all agree that people like Bill Burt, who have done so much with their lives to help other people, deserve an awful lot of credit. And we're very grateful for you, sir. Thank you very much for being on our show. There are so many people here. I just could never get through to it. I'm going to end with your dad.
Very kind of you.
Because,
Thank you.
well, your dad said something really sweet. Open and free communication is the most cherished of all American freedoms. Keep up the good work. And you know what, Mr. Burt, that's not me. That's enjoying the fact of good people like your son being able to come on. So we are truly honored, and we want to thank you. Can we catch you again?
I'll come on anytime, Larry. I love doing this with you, and I feel honored. Every time you ask me to be here, I feel truly honored, and I'd do it anytime.
Oh, thank you. We appreciate that. We really do. We're going to let Captain Burt go, but before we go...
Give my best to your brother.
Thank you. Yeah, I will. Yeah, we've got a real contagious issue going around here right now. Keep washing your hands. Okay. Captain Burt, what would you like to say to Live PD Nation before we close?
I just want to say thank you for the support to little old Missoula, Montana. It's been overwhelming. It's to be able to showcase our deputies and our community and the type of law enforcement that we do here. The kind comments, everybody. I know that everybody from Sergeant Blinkety and Sergeant Prather, Garrett Kopus, Justin White, all of the guys that have. This has been a tremendous opportunity for us to be able to showcase our community, our office, our state to the, well, I was going to say to the country, but to the whole world, really, because we've got a bunch of Canadian friends and people from the UK. I just hear from people all over. So thank you so much for the support. I read every comment, everything that comes into me on Facebook and Twitter. I read through every one of them. I try to respond to them all, but it takes up some time. So keep them coming. Thank you.
All right. Captain Bill Burt from Missoula County, Montana. I'd like to thank Jill Lee and Rebecca for being moderators today. Thank you, ladies, for being there for us. We'll be live here in about 25 minutes with Officer Eric Eric.
Make sure to say hello to him for me and
I will.
Tell my old crew hello.
Absolutely. We'll be back with Officer Sharif Irfan from Pomona PD until I see you in about 25 minutes for Double Play Saturday. God bless you guys. Thank you so much for watching Live PD and these great heroes that we get the chance to bring to you by their kindness. Thanks for watching Leo's Coast to Coast. Be good people. God bless y'all. We'll see you soon. 25.